So in this session, we're going to look at how you can take some of your own existing tools, or maybe even a new one that you're planning to create, your existing .NET tool, and improve the usability and the audience for that by making it into an MCP, a local MCP server. I will use the one I have done myself as an example, but hopefully you will go away from this and be ready to also do this for your own tools. So we'll go through quickly go through what and why MCP servers are. I guess there has been some talk about this already during this event, so we'll just do it briefly. And then we will show what it takes to add an MCP server feature to our current CLI app. And secondly, what can we do to publish it as an MCP server to NuGet? And we'll look at some additional improvements that the .NET team has made to make the ecosystem around MCP servers and tooling around it, in particular for local MCP servers, better in the .NET 10 release. So let's just have a quick recap of the Model Context Protocol. We have some MCP clients, which is usually GitHub inside either Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio, or you can actually also create your own agent with the new Microsoft Agent framework. And then on the other side, we have an MCP server, which exposes various tools. And it can be a remote server where you communicate over HTTP protocol, but it can also be a local tool that you invoke via standard I/O. And in this example, it's going to be the last thing I mentioned, invoking the tool via standard I/O. So let's look at what it takes to take an existing console app and convert it into an MCP server. So I have a tool here called SQL Analyzer, CLI, and it's a tool that's published on NuGet as a command line tool. So as a .NET tool, which is basically a command line tool that is installable with .NET tool install, as you can see here on the screen. And that tool provides analysis of bad patterns in T-SQL object creation scripts. So if you are in a folder with some T-SQL object creation files, you can basically just run the tool, and it will run analysis on those files against more than 140 analysis rules and report any findings back as warnings in this case. And it's also, there was a syntax error in one of the files, so it's reported back as an error. So it's a standard command line tool, and you install it with a .NET tool install. And the installation actually means that it's being downloaded to your NuGet cache, and on top of that, it's also being registered with a shortcut somewhere else on your disk. So that's what the installation means, and you can also have local installations. Global means global for me as a user. It doesn't mean global for all users on this machine or server. So given that we have this command line tool, which is a standard command line tool, console app, and it passes command line options. I'm using the command line library to do that, and then I run my class library for actually doing the analysis of whatever is supplied to it. So it can take a list of script files, or just a single one, or it can even take a piece of text, which is SQL script, and then analyze that and return the results. So right now, this is just a plain old school, whatever you want to say, .NET tool. And what in order to make a command line tool, a .NET tool, more or less all you need to do is, of course, do some package metadata, add some package metadata in your project file, and then you add this pack as tool property group to your project, and then when you pack it, it will be packed as a NuGet package that wraps your command line tool for you. So in order to make it MCP server, first we need to add a reference to a library that enables us to do this without too much effort, and it's called, where is it? Here. So it's called Model Context Protocol. It implements a Model Context Protocol standard way of interacting with MCP servers for .NET. And I think it was originally created by a community contributor, but now it's also maintained by Microsoft together with that community contributor. You can see it's not Microsoft something, it's just Model Context Protocol. So it's a .NET library that enables you to add Model Context Protocol functionality to your app. That's the first step you need to take. And then secondly, you need to add a class that exposes the tools in your MCP server. And I have already a class ready here. So let's just include this in the project. And it will reference the Model Contour Protocol namespace up here. And it will say that this, what we're exposing here in this class, is an MCP server tool type, and this particular method here is a specific MCP server tool, which has a description. So adding a good description is really good for the AI agent to be able to understand what value this MCP server actually adds. And then, of course, you have to implement your actual tool functionality. So I have called my tool Find SQL Script Problems, which is also kind of relatively describing of what the tool actually does. And then there's another description of the actual tool. So you can have multiple tools. In this case, I have just implemented a single tool. So an MCP server can have multiple tools and do multiple things. But this simple MCP server here actually only does one thing, which is find SQL script problems. So it takes a string, which represents a SQL script, and it returns the result basically just as text. I think in the newer versions of the library, there's options to make the results more strongly typed, more structured, but it actually works quite well by just returning text. The important thing is that everything, even if there's errors happening, it's important to not return those errors, because imagine that you're actually interacting with something that the AI agent is reading. So it should be like human readable text, not necessarily technical error messages. And finally, the last bit of plumbing you need to do is adding the tool to your main program. And of course, there's different approaches for doing that depending on how your program is already implemented. So, but one approach to it is, so I already supported being called without any parameters. So I had to add an additional parameter to say now I want my tool to run as an MCP server, and it will use the Windows host builder to basically create a continuously running app that will then listen to whatever text you send to it. Initially, when you start your communication, or when an agent starts its communication with a MCP server, it will get a list of the tools that the MCP server provides, and then it will know about those individual tools and make them available to the end user of the AI agent. We'll get a demo of the actual interaction with the Copilot in a little while. So it's important to notice that we use the @MCP server method, which comes from the model context protocol, and then we specify what type of transport we're using. So it can be either HTTP server transport or standard I/O server transport. So standard I/O is basically just whatever appears in at the command line going back and forth. And then you can have several methods. There's several methods to register your tools. So this one will basically just scan this analyzer tools class for any methods decorated with the MCP server tool attribute, and then make those tools available. I think there's also a way to just scan everything in your library. An important thing to notice is that you should make sure that you're not accidentally outputting stuff to the console that is could be confusing to the MCP server. So that's why it was suggested by whatever example I used to do this, to only add trace level errors to the console, so it doesn't get polluted with error messages. So it's only the only communication that happens on the console is actual textual message exchange between the method and the AI agent. And then you run the method, run the host, and it will then continue to run and wait for requests from the AI agent, and respond as needed when it receives text data to the tool that is being called, because that's how we decorated this method with a string parameter. So now we have an MCP server that we can install and run. The one of the challenges with this approach until the .NET 10 was that you actually had to then ask the user to install the tool. As you can see here, even if they wanted to use it as an MCP server, they had to first do the .NET tool install dance, and then register it as an MCP server. So in order to register as an MCP server, you can either add this to your MCP JSON file with the command line parameters. You can see I have this additional flag here to indicate we're running an MCP mode to our tool. There's also possible to make simpler installations now with some sort of hyperlinks that adds this configuration either to Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio. So you can go into my repo and see how this is done. So basically, it's sending the config as a URL encoded string, so it will get injected into Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio with these special URLs. You can see, maybe you can see at the bottom, but you can go into my repo and see what the exact syntax is to do that. So next step, of course, for .NET 10 is that you actually don't need to install the tool. You can just refer to it with this syntax, which is new in .NET 10. So instead of the actual command from the install tool, you can use a new .NET 10 command called DNX, which has the ability to execute your .NET tool package directly from the web. Of course, it will initially download it to your NuGet cache, but then basically it will execute your tool from the NuGet cache. So as you can see, I have published it and NuGet realizes that this is actually an MCP server. And if you go into package search in NuGet, you can actually filter and do a search for only MCP servers on NuGet.org. So how did I publish this packet with all this additional information about the fact that it is an MCP server, including the arguments? Let's have a closer look at that. So first of all, you need to add a metadata file called server.json, which basically is the basis for this server.json part fragment that's shown here. It's a little more verbose than that, so it's basically like I'm thinking a little bit of it like a new spec for MCP tools. So it's like a standard thing. I don't know why there's squiggles here. Okay, I have some typo somewhere. No. So you need to specify a number of things, basically like publishing a NuGet packet. Like the command arguments has to be this funny syntax, and the name has to be this inverted domain name and some things like that. So basically, this will make it available as a tool, and in order to do that, you have to first author this file, and then add an additional property to your project, which is this new package type, which is added in .NET 10, called MCP server. So basically, you're telling the NuGet pack command that this is a special type of tool that is an MCP server. And that then it becomes published as an MCP server. The last thing you need to do is to actually make sure that you add the MCP file, similar to adding a README file. You can do that with this syntax here at the bottom. Again, have a closer look in my repo, but basically you need to include this MCP server file inside your NuGet package, and this is how it's done. So with all that, let's just have a quick look at what the tool does. So I'm over here now in another solution where I have a SQL script. It looks actually okay. It's from the from the Chinook database. But let's see what GitHub Copilot can help us with in terms of making sure that we're following best practices when we're designing this table. So I'm running GitHub Copilot in agent mode, which will enable it to use various tools. And I have installed the tool with a shortcut. So you still need to install the tool. Maybe in the future, Copilot will be able to browse a registry of MCP tools somewhere and find relevant tools based on the questions that you're asking. I don't think we're quite there yet, but you have to kind of consent to having the tool installed. So it also the issue of doing that the right way. So you have to activate the tool. So you can see I have a SQL Analyzer MCP, and then I have my Find SQL Script Problems tool here that is activated. And then I'm asking Copilot to check this script that's currently on the screen. It's asking me, do you really want to run this tool? And I will allow it to run in this session. So it's not running tools without my knowledge. So only run trusted tools, and then it will actually tell me what the bad practices were in this file here, and I can get a link to more documentation about the bad practice and see what I can do to fix it. So a quick recap. So we added the model context protocol package. We can add and inject an MCP service, as you saw in Program CS and in the Analyzer Tools class I had implemented. And then, of course, we enable it to be called somehow from our main Program CS file in our command line tool. And then in order to publish it as an MCP server, we need to make it a package type of MCP server. We need to author the MCP/server.json file. And then we need to add the MCP server JSON file to the package. That's all these 6 steps. That's all you need to do. to get started by making your command line tool useful as an MCP server. We also had a quick look at some other features like the one-shot execution. So I'm just going to do a quick demo of that. Time is permitting us. Yes. So I'm in Visual Studio and I'm in Developer PowerShell 7 in Visual Studio 2026. So basically I can run this command with any tool that's published on NUGET.org, and I can also add, as you saw on the website, I can also add a specific version. But if I don't add a specific version on my command line, I just sorry, yeah, I'll go back here. I will just get the latest version, and then I say yes, because otherwise I do have to do some confirmation that I actually want to do this. So this will be the same as running the tool that was already installed, but now it's not installed, so to speak. It's quickly downloaded and then run from our NuGet local NuGet cache folder. So this fact that it's downloaded and run for our NuGet folder adds some interesting perspectives on how you are designing your tool. We will not have time to deep dive into that, but basically you have to think about a couple of things that are now more relevant than ever, because you want your MCP server to be responsive and installed quickly. So the way to get it installed quickly is, of course, to make sure that the size of your package is as small as possible. And you can do that. One approach to that is actually you can split your right now when you pack your tool, it's packed in a single NuGet package, so the whole NuGet package will have to be downloaded. But if you have a lot of unmanaged dependencies, you can actually split your package into multiple packages, and only the package that is relevant for your platform will then be downloaded. But your mileage may vary if you don't have a lot of unmanaged dependencies like C++ DLLs or CDLLs or whatever that are platform specific. It's of less importance, but it's definitely something that you should consider depending on what your tool does. There's also the possibility to pack your tool as an AOT with AOT compilation. Again, your mileage may vary, and maybe you are using some dependencies that don't allow being packed or being compiled as AOT. And the third option, you can also do trimming. Again, maybe some of the libraries you are using are not trimmable, and then you will have to work around that or switch libraries or whatever. But that's also an option. So the goal is to make your download as smart as little as download size small as possible, and then make your app launch as quickly as possible to get the best experience for the end user when they're using your tool as an MCP server. Yeah, we saw this. Another thing that maybe will come is a little bit of future thing is a CLI introspection, the ability to expose structured information about your commands and the parameters of them with a CLI schema switch. It has been built into the .NET command already, and you can also, for example, with a tool like spectre.cli, console.cli, you can actually add it to your own app, so you can expose metadata about how your parameters are and what data types they are and so on, what the values are, and so on. So that could be used by tools like AI agents in the future. Yeah, go and get .NET 10 and start playing with it. And thank you very much. I'm a little bit over time, Sam. I hope you'll forgive me.